Doesn't look like there's going to be much more rain after this, though. Alright, welcome. This is M-Dog. I hope you got to see the video we did earlier here about how to fish with a lure, a wobbler. And I realized it's probably worth talking about something that you would learn much earlier in their game, and that's how to fish with spoons and spinners, that sort of thing. If you look at your spin fishing, fishing with spoons and spinnerbaits is something you can do from the very beginning of the game. So it's really going to be important if you are doing a lot of spin fishing. It's going to be important to master the different techniques available. Just like with the wobblers, there is some similarities. You can always just reel in your lure at a very steady pace. Put it on, I end up using around 14 or 15, maybe sometimes as high as 20, and just reel it straight in. It's sort of like a slow and steady approach. You can also do the stop and go. Again, same speed, sometimes a little higher speed, maybe 20 plus 20, reel for 2 or 3 rotations and then stop for 2 or 3 seconds and then reel. But what I'm going to really focus on, and what I do 90% of the time when I'm fishing with spoons especially, is going to be your jig movement. And we'll show this right here. We're going to use this Hunter 2. These videos have all taken place, or both of these videos have taken place here at Curie Lake. And there's a reason for that. For a lot of people's experience in this game is that you probably do a lot of float fishing and feeder fishing, so bottom fishing, leading up to the point in which you get to Curie Lake. Some of the early bodies of water, it's just more challenging to spin fish. But once you get to Curie Lake, the beauty of spin fishing is going to suddenly come alive to you. Now for some of you, maybe you've been spinning since the very beginning, and my hat is tipped to you, because that's that can be challenging. Some of those early bodies of water, Mosquito Lake, even the next one, Winding Rivulet or Winding River. Though there are a lot of predator fish there, it's just it can be a challenge if you're really trying to level up just by spinning. But many people have done it. Old Berg, so much good bottom fishing and float fishing there. Yes, you could do a lot of spinning there, but for many players it ends up being Curie Lake where you really find the beauties of spin fishing because of trolling, fishing off the island, and then also fishing off the bank, which is what we're going to do here. So real quick, I don't want to make this a long video. Let me show you the main way that I fish with a spoon. We're going to just cast straight out so we can see the actual process. I end up pointing my rod sort of towards the direction where the lure is coming. It can be good as you're first getting a handle on it to point it at more of a 90-degree angle. And there's some people that still just say that this is just the better way. And it may be, but what I do is I point right out there. But if you want to start off like this, you can kind of look at different heights, and you'll see why in a minute here. But we're going to go straight on. Let's see what our retrieval speed is. I like to have it about 24. If I have a really big lure out there, sometimes I'll even go 25, but kind of 22 to 24 is what I end up using. Let's take the slack up, and all we're going to do here is one rotation and pause. And you already see jig step came up in the bottom left hand side here, right next to where the wheel of our the handle on our reel is. And we're touching the bottom, and then as we reel up, it's bringing that spoon up into the water. And so all of the fish at different elevations are having a chance to see what looks like a yummy piece of bait swimming right in front of them. And they'll chase that thing for a good amount of distance to come get that yummy piece of bait. So that's really all you're going to do all the way in. Just jig step that spoon right up to where you are. Maybe leave it in the water just for a minute. There's a fish. We got a fish on here. I do need to do a video, and whenever I do these videos, I always kind of feel bad because there are people that have been playing this game for a lot longer than I have, and even that haven't been playing it a lot longer but just have mastered it more than I have. So don't just watch my video or don't just watch my stream. There are other people that know a lot more than I do, but I also feel like we need to, at some point, figure out a good way to do a video on the different ways to fight a fish, to reel in a fish, to bring it in. So, but that's not for this one. We're gonna do this one more time. One more cast here, whether we catch a fish or not. I like to let it settle at the bottom. Even if you don't get the touching bottom message on the left-hand side, you don't have to wait for that to come up, but I like to give it a chance to go ahead and sink, because you're going to be jig stepping it up and then letting it go back down, and already we got a fish. Some of this is just the time of day. The sun's just come out after rain. Water's warming up a little bit in the late afternoon, early evening. It's just a good time to catch some fish. And also this lure we're using, I can't recommend it enough. Is this another eyed? We might have just caught 2 eyeds in a row. That's interesting. The eyeds are out. But this lure we're using is the Coruna Hunter 2002. So it's a 13 gram, not the smallest, but the next to smallest version of the number 2 Hunter. And it just tends to work really well. If you are here at Curie Lake, though, it don't always throw straight out. There's times where, different times of the day, where it's just better to throw to the side, kind of closer to the shore. Bring that lure right into to where you're standing, more parallel to the shore. We'll do this one more time. But and also change lures up. This lure is great, and I feel like you can catch fish off this spoon under almost any circumstance. But there's no doubt that there are some circumstances where other spoons or even lures in general may work better. But this is a really good overall lure. And see, we're just jig stepping it in, 1 full rotation. Kind of have an internal clock. I'm basically counting to 3. It's not 3 full seconds. And I'm sure everyone pauses for slightly different amounts of time. But this kind of internal sort of speed that I've got going, that just out of muscle memory and habit at this point, it's just what has worked good for me. So this is a good opportunity for us to maybe not catch a fish, but also to show you, as it gets closer to where I'm standing, to my pole, I will slow down a little bit in terms of how long my pause is, make sure it's hitting the bottom, and then I'm going to look for that lure, see it on the bottom, and see it come closer. And I will really give a long, pregnant pause the last couple of rotations here. And it's actually just right there in front of me in the water. It's coming up towards the pole now. But there are many times that you'll see a pike come out of the weeds or something else, perch or something, and they'll get it right there at the end. It looks like we're not going to catch anything on this last cast, though. So that is primarily fishing with a spoon. I guess we didn't really go into fishing with the spinners, but frankly, the spoons, especially early game, are just so good. That's typically what I'm using. The Hypnotics are all really good. The Hunters, the Coruna, Saturi, those are all really good. Of course, handmade spoons can be really good. Anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. There's just some basics to get you started on fishing with a spoon. Thank you so much for watching, and now we will continue the rest of our stream.